Okay, so you've just watched the Robinhood video and then a short video about how to distribute and why we can distribute, and now we're going to distribute and solve. We're going to put all of our pieces together. So the first thing that we're going to do, remember this guy is our Skippy. He's got the arrows, or Robin Hood, and he's going to shoot the arrows over the wall to all of the terms on the inside. Remember, this number and this letter are attached. Do not multiply them twice. So when we distribute, we always multiply. This will be 4 times 1, and always put a plus sign. 4, because that's the term on the outside, times 4n. And it's a positive 4n, so I don't need a sign. That equals negative 92. So then we actually multiply. 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. Oops. Okay. Now we have a two-step equation that we need to solve. So we just added one extra layer to our cute little two-steppers. Remember, we want to save the number and the letter for the very end. Save this guy. And we want to get rid of the extra stuff next to him first. So the extra stuff is this 4. It's next to the n. The negative 92 doesn't have a variable next to it, so we don't really care about that right now. In order to get rid of a positive 4, we have to do the opposite. So we're going to minus 4, which leaves us with positive 16n on the left-hand side. Now, since I subtracted by 4, I have to keep my equation nice and balanced. So I'm also going to subtract by 4 on this side too. Notice that I'm subtracting my number by a number, and it does not have a variable. 92 minus 4. Since these guys are both negatives, we're actually going to add our numbers and get a bigger negative, so negative 96. If you're not sure, please use a handy-dandy calculator. That's why we have them, and we really encourage you to use these. You're not dumb for using a calculator. So I'm just going to check my work. Oh yeah, good. I did it right, negative 96. So now we want to get rid of the 16 that's attached to the n because we want the variable all by itself. Since the 16 is sitting next to the n and attached, it means multiply. The opposite of multiply is divide, so now I have gotten rid of my 16. Also notice I keep my same signs when I divide, and it's opposite signs when you add or subtract. We're left over with n on the left-hand side. Since we divided by 16 on the left, we also have to divide by 16 on the right. We got to keep nice and balanced. We can also type it into our calculator. Since negative 96 is already there, and that's the top number of our fraction, we can just press divide by 16 if we want to, and that gives us our answer. Now if you're like, whoa, I don't know what just happened, you can always retype it, negative 96 divided by 16, and again we get negative 6, or you can use this cool little button that has the boxes, and that's a fraction button. You can type negative 96 on the top and 16 at the bottom, and there we go. For all three ways we get negative 6, which is fantastic. Okay, let's do another one. Let's see here. We're going to do number 11. Okay, on number 11, again, we're going to take this guy that's in the very front and we're going to distribute him, which means multiply. We're going to distribute him to the first term and to the second term. Remember that that negative is attached to that term, so do not separate it. So really what we have is 7 times 8, and always put a plus sign, even though this is minus, because this minus is going to stay attached to that 4. 7 times negative 4b. So see, I didn't lose my minus sign. Again, there are other ways to do this. I've just noticed as I've taught that this is the best way to get students to the correct answer. 196. I'm actually going to draw a wall this time and keep my equal signs on my wall. Sometimes it's really helpful to keep you organized. 7 times 8 is 56, and in case you didn't know, we're going to double check our answer, just in case. Okay, 7 times 8, yep, 56. Okay, we're good. Again, don't be afraid to use that calculator. 7 times negative 4, so be careful. 7 times negative 4 is negative 28, and you've got that b. Now, if you get an error, because sometimes students do, then maybe use the minus sign instead of a negative sign. If you type this in, your calculator will tell you, oh no, we done messed up. So just make sure you use the negative buttons and not a minus sign. We keep our 196 because nothing happened to that yet. Okay, this negative is attached to this 28b, so we got to deal with that last because the variable always goes last. So that means we need to get rid of this 56 that's on the same side as our variable. We don't care about the 196 right now because it doesn't have a variable next to it. The opposite of positive 56 is minus 56. That makes that go to 0, which is what we want because we want that b to be closer to being by himself. Since I subtracted by 56 on the left, I also have to subtract by 56 on the right. Oops, and that's because we want to keep our scales nice and balanced, like our equations. Okay, then we subtract by 56 and we get 140. Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, then we have to get the b by itself. It's getting multiplied to negative 28. That's what it means when they sit next to each other. So the opposite of multiply is divide. Remember, we write divide in math with fractions. So not this symbol. I didn't write this symbol, okay? So don't write that symbol. You're going to write it as a fraction. You have to keep the signs. Those negative 28s cancel, leaving just b. Since I divided by negative 28 over there, I also have to divide by negative 28. 140 divided by negative 28 is negative 5. So that's the answer to our problem. Okay, let me see if there's anything more. Okay, I found one more that I want to talk to you about. Remember, if your problem looks like this, we talked about this a little bit in the previous video. If you have two numbers out in front, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna add them to start. Don't add. Do not add to start. The first thing you have to do is distribute. Distribute this positive 7 to the 6n and the negative 3. Please, please make sure you do that first. So then you have 108 equals, bring down that 3. Do not use that 3 yet. Then it's 7 times negative 6n, because remember this negative is attached to that 6. And always put a plus sign, 7 times your second term, which is negative 3. Then we can finish this solving the problem. I'll just show you what it will look like. 3 plus negative 42n, that's okay to have that for right now, plus 7 times negative 3 is negative 21. Okay, I lied. I'm going to keep going. Okay. Oh man, I'm writing way too big. So here, on the right-hand side is where my variable is. So I'm just going to put a box around my variable and the sign. So that negative is attached to that 42. You don't need two signs attached to a number, just one. If I look on the right-hand side, I have two terms over here. I have a 3 and a negative 21. So the first thing I want to do is I want to combine them. If they're on the same side of the equal sign, you got to keep the signs the same. So we're going to combine 3 and negative 21 because we're on the same side of the wall. We keep that 108 over here. And 3 plus negative 21 is negative, I want to make sure I don't get it wrong, 18. And then we still have our minus 42n. Notice that I took out some of the plus signs, which is totally fine. Okay, then what we're going to do is, I just wanted to get some paper to put underneath here. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to continue our problem just like we've done before. So now we have our number with our variable, and we can put a cute little box around it. We got to save him till the end. Notice he hasn't changed. He's still negative 42n. Then we have this extra number out in front, negative 18. We want to get rid of it. We get rid of something by doing the opposite. So we're going to add 18. That makes the 18 go away, leaving the negative 42n. They make 0, which is what we want. Since I added 18 on the right, I also have to add 18 on the left. I'm so sorry about how crazy it looks. 108 plus 18 is 126. Okay, and then our last step is to get this n by itself. Since the negative 42 is getting multiplied by the n, we have to do the opposite. So we're going to divide each side by negative 42, and our n equals negative 3. Okay, if you have any more questions, please let your teacher know. 14 is very similar. You would do the same thing, but ignore this guy and just bring him down, just like we did with the 3. And then when you got to the combining like term step, like we did here, That's when you would combine, but you have a V and a V to combine and not a number and a number. We will do more videos about this if you're still confused, but that's our video for today. All right, guys, bye.